Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 4th September 2021. So let's get started with our lecture and let us see which are the topics we are going to see in this lecture. So first topic we are going to discuss is about edible oil prices. So actually from last 1 year onwards, we are seeing there is increase in edible oil price. So now in this December we are going to see some ease in this edible oil prices. So this article will be important regarding economy which comes in the GS paper 3. And next topic it is about footprints of 3 dinosaur species mainly seen in this third desert. So this article will be important from our environment and ecology which comes in the GS paper 3. And next topic is about Supreme Court collegium. So already we studied like recently Supreme Court collegium recommended some names to President regarding appointment of judges of Supreme Court, and 9 judges were appointed recently in Supreme Court. So regarding this, now Supreme Court collegium made a recommendations for appointment of judges in high courts. So this article will be important from polity point of view which comes in the GS paper 2. And next one is about geotagging of pelicans. So what happened? So actually these pelicans are migratory birds, they will come into India, right? So what happened? So they will stay some period in India and later on they will go away. So we don't know where they are going. So because of this, geotagging of these pelicans will be very important, mainly to understand their migratory nature, and as well as that will be helpful for conservation of those birds. So this will be important from environment and ecology which comes under GS paper 3. And next topic it is about IndiaUS signed project agreement on air-launched UAE unmanned aerial vehicle. So this article mainly dealing with relationship between India and US. So it will be important from international relations which comes under GS paper 2. And next article it is about Brahmani river. So what happened? There is diversion of water in this Brahmani river is seen. So because of this diversion of water here, so finally whenever river is moving like that, so whenever we are diverting water, that means, so in this area whenever it is joining sea, so this area water will be becoming less, right? So as you know, in rivers we are having fresh water and here in seas we are having salt water or saline water. So whenever amount of rich water, high amount of river water which is joining the sea means, so in this adjoining area we can see salinity will be decreased. But in the same case, if river water flow is decreased means, so there will be increase in salinity. So whenever there is increase in salinity, so whatever the mangroves are present in this area, they will be affected. So this is a thing which mainly said in this article. So this will be again important from environment and ecology which comes under GS paper 3. And next it is about purchasing manager index. So this article mainly talking about purchasing manager index regarding service sector. That will be important for our economy point of view. And next article it is about FSDC. Okay, FSDC meet. So what are the things they may talked? So what is the mandate? Everything we are going to discuss. So that will be important from our economy which comes under GS paper 3. And next one is about GST collections. So in yesterday's lecture we studied some background regarding this GST collections of month of August. So this article we are going to see some analysis. So this will be important from our economy point of view which comes in the GS paper 3. So now let's get started with our discussion and let us see first topic. So as I said, it is about edible oil prices likely to ease by December. So edible oil prices are likely to be eased by December. So this article may be talking about edible oil prices. So why edible oil prices important? So I think day before yesterday we studied about the middle class, okay, middle class family and how this COVID-19 has impacted this middle class. So these middle class people are facing a lot of problems. There is increasing livelihood loss and there is no proper livelihood, there is no proper income, and even there is an unemployment that had been increased in this middle class. So whenever we are focusing on economic growth and living this middle class means it will not lead to economic growth revival actually. So in this context, so not only increase in price of diesel and as well as petrol, so even increase of this edible oil prices also impacted this middle class people. So whenever there is increase in food inflation that is seen means that will also affect nutrition of children and as well as women and entire family. So So that will lead to malnutrition. So whenever malnutrition is increasing, again government need to come up with some interventions mainly to improve nutrition of people, regarding children, regarding women, etc. So here edible oil price is also one of the important role, which mainly leading to economic situation of family, and also it is very important to identify malnutrition status also, right? So this is one of the important background that you need to remember. So overall this article will be important regarding economy, which comes under GS paper 3. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that soaring edible oil prices, they are likely to soften by December. So by December there is some decreasing. Soften means decreasing edible oil prices, because international commodity futures show a declining trend, and even we are going to have some domestic oil seed crops also. So because of these reasons, now we can expect there will be decreasing of this edible oil prices by December. So if we are talking about the details, it mainly says that government would be restrained from further import duty cuts to reduce oil prices, as needs to augment its own resources which are affected by this COVID-19. So due to this COVID-19 pandemic, almost all sectors have been affected. So even only if you're talking about agriculture, it is showing somewhat positive growth, but all the sector, each and every sector in our economy which had been affected due to this COVID-19 pandemic. So now the government, it would be constrained from further import duty cuts that will help to reduce oil prices. And next one is average retail prices of major edible oils have risen up to 48%, and average price of these edible oils have been increased by 48% over last year. So what might be reason? So because of increasing of global prices of oil. So first one here is there is increasing of oil prices globally, and next one is there is lower domestic production of soya bean. Okay, so because of these reasons there is increasing of oil price that mainly seen. So why we can expect there will be decreasing of price by December? Because of arrival. Okay, so we are going to get domestic soya bean crop and also rabi mustard crop. So because of this we can expect there will be some decreasing of oil prices by December. Now let us try to talk about some important facts. So there is increasing of prices is observed mainly seen in 6 edible oils. For example, groundnut oil, mustard oil, vanaspati is nothing but dalda, soya oil, sunflower oil and palm oil. There is increasing of prices observed mainly in 6 edible oils: groundnut oil, mustard oil, vanaspati, soya oil, sunflower oil and as well as palm oil. So in these types of these 6 edible oils, there is increase in prices. And with rising in income and as well as changing food habits, consumption of edible oils has been rising over years. So because of increasing income, okay, so because of increasing income of people and also changing of food habits, and that led to increase in consumption of edible oil over the years. So one of the main reasons for increasing in prices, it is a shift in usage of edible oils from food to biofuel. And other reasons include there is more buying by China and as well as labor issues in Malaysia, and even impact of La Nina on palms and soya producing areas, and also as imposition of export duty on crude palm oil in Indonesia and Malaysia. So these are the some important reasons which mainly led to increase in price of this edible oils. And now let us try to see about some important facts here. So the major sources of these imports like crude oil, they include mainly Argentina and Brazil for soybean oil, Indonesia and Malaysia for palm oil, Ukraine and Argentina for sunflower oil. So regarding this palm oil, we got a recent current affairs like, so we are going to have this oil palm plan. Okay, so you have to revise that also in this context. So if you are talking about area wise, so in rural areas, people mainly, there is high demand for mainly mustard oil. Mustard oil, it is mainly used in rural areas. And next one here is about sunflower and soybean oil. So mostly urban people, urban areas are having demand for this sunflower and as well as soybean oil. So why urban areas? Because so in urban areas people mainly having some sedentary lifestyle. So because of the sedentary lifestyle, there is increase in cholesterol in their body. Mainly to decrease this cholesterol, so doctors mainly suggest that they need to take this sunflower oil. So there is an increase in demand for this soybean oil and as well as sunflower oil in urban areas. So these are the some important things that you need to remember. And now let us try to talk about next topic. Title says footprints of 3 dinosaur species found in Thar Desert. So here these are mainly belongs to 200 million years ago. So this article will be important regarding environment and ecology. This mainly comes under GS paper 3. And now let us try to talk about context. If you see context, it mainly says that in a major discovery, footprints of 3 species of dinosaurs, they have been found in Thar Desert in Rajasthan. So in Rajasthan, a major discovery, that is a footprints of 3 species of dinosaurs they had been found, and proving that the presence of giant reptile that is seen even in our western part of our country, and it is mainly found in the seashore of Tethys Ocean during Mesozoic era. So during this Mesozoic era, there was the presence of dinosaurs in this Thar Desert. And if we are talking about details, it mainly says that the footprints made in sediment or silt of a seashore, and later it became permanently a stone-like. So whenever there is sediments are present, so whenever there is a pressure is acting and as well as increasing heat, so that sediments will be converted into rocks. Those rocks are called as sedimentary rocks, right? So if we are talking about rocks, we are having 3 types: sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks, and as well as metamorphic rocks. So igneous rocks are mainly made up of regarding this lava and as well as lava thing. And if you are talking about sedimentary rocks, mainly because of sediments, they will be forming into rocks after time, after some time, that is time period, and even increase in pressure and as well as temperature. And next one is we are having metamorphic rocks. So either this igneous rock or sedimentary rocks are mainly undergoing some changes and forming into another form. Those are called as sedimentary rocks, right? So the footprints, they are mainly seen on the seashore, okay, seen on in the sediments or silt of the seashore, and later it became permanently stone, like that we can see like sedimentary rock. And this one is these are mainly belongs to 3 species of dinosaurs. They include eubornates of gigantus and eubornates of Glirnosis and Gralatratenus. So these are 3 important species of dinosaurs which mainly seen. And the footprints, they were 200 million years old. So if we are talking about facts, it mainly says that the dinosaur species, they are considered to be the theropod. They mainly belongs to this theropod type with a distinctive feature, that is hollow bones are present, and even feet with 3 digits. Okay, so all the 3 species mainly belongs to this early Jurassic period. They were carnivorous. Okay, so this is just of this topic, and now let us try to see next topic. So title says Supreme Court Collegium clears 168 names for High Court judges. So this article may talking about collegium, which mainly comes under polity. Okay, so polity, it is very important, and already we discussed about this topic recently. So recently here Supreme Court Collegium recommended names to President for appointment of judges of Supreme Court, and out of this recently 9 appointments they were made. So now why it is in news again? So the top courts collegium, which mainly led by our Chief Justice of India, and he recommended about 68 names in one stroke. So now this time 68 names they were recommended in one stroke for elevation as judges of various high courts. So if you're talking about details, it mainly says that the collegium in back-to-back meetings that held on August 5th and as well as September 1st, they considered 112 candidates for high court appointments. So collegium is back-to-back meetings on August 5th and September 1st. They considered that 112 candidates for high court appointments. So this is the one important thing, and out of this 112, now 68 names were recommended for appointments to 12 high courts. So out of the 68, 44 from bar and as well as 24 from judicial service. And now let's try to talk about some facts regarding this collegium system. So this system, okay, it is a system by which judges, they are appointed, and even judges, they are transferred only by the judges. Okay, so this system which mainly deals with appointment and as well as transferring of judges. And this system mainly not formed by an act of parliament or by constitutional provision, but this collegium system mainly evolved by the judgments of Supreme Court. So here you need to know first judge case, second judge case, third judge case. Okay, so in collegium, which mainly headed by our CJI and as well as our collegium system will also comprise of four senior most judges. And if you're talking about High Court collegium, which mainly led by chief justice of that High Court, and also it will contain 4 other senior most judges of that court. And next one is the names which mainly recommended for appointment. Okay, the names which mainly recommended for appointment of a High Court collegium, which mainly reaches government only after approval by CJI and Supreme Court collegium. So names will be mainly recommended for appointment of these judges in this High Court. Okay, reach government, okay, only after approval, which is mainly done by CJI and Supreme Court collegium. So now here the government, it can return the recommended judge for reconsideration by collegium, as well as collegium reiterates its recommendations. Then the government is mandated to appoint that person, and even the system was introduced for strengthening and as well as improving of appointment process of judges. So this is just of this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says geotagging pelicans to track their flight path. So in this image you can see these birds, they are pelicans. So this article mainly says that geotagging of these pelicans is important to track their flight path. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. So this will be important from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So if you see context, it mainly says that scientists of Wildlife Institute of India, that is WII, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, they will go for geotagging of these pelicans. So they are mainly spot-billed pelicans. Okay, so they are spot-billed pelicans. Mainly this geotagging will be very much helpful to track their flight path and study their migratory patterns. So scientists of this Wildlife Institute of India, they will geotag the spot-billed pelicans. So this will be very much helpful to track their flight path and study their migratory patterns. So the exercise being conducted for the first time for pelicans. So this will be helpful for even community reserve. Okay, even it is mainly done at community reserve, which mainly located of this Bangalore-Mysore highway near Madur. So if you are talking about significance, why it is important? So it will mainly helpful to understand habitat which is mainly preferred by these birds. To understand the habitat, it will be really helpful, and even it will be helpful to initiate some conservation measures apart from throwing on light on their nesting patterns and as well as breeding. So we need to know about nesting patterns and breeding, but also we need to take some conservation efforts. So if we know this habitat well known, and we can easily go for this conservation efforts. And if we are talking about why we need to go for geotagging, because pelicans, they arrive at this Cockrebellure around October or November, and they will mainly extend the period of time that is lasting 6 months. So after this time is over, so remaining period where they are going to stay, we don't know. So for this, mainly to track their habitats, it will be very important. So if we are talking about threats for these pelicans, so there is habitat destructions, and even there is a divergence of rivers for irrigation, agriculture development, etc. So that because of this reason, there is a decreasing of attraction of these migratory birds. And this one is floods leading to inundation of nesting sites of these birds. And next one is persecution, that is mainly seen, and even hunting for sport because of its minimal depredation of fish and as well as fish farms. And next one is collisions with electric power lines during migration. So it is also one important threat. Next one is pesticide spraying and even heavy metal contamination. So these are some important threats which are mainly faced. And if you're talking about some facts regarding this WII, Wildlife Institute of India, which mainly offers a training program. Okay, so this WII mainly offers a training program, academic courses, advisory in wildlife research and management. And here this WII also come up with wildlife managers from other developing countries, and they will be also trained here. And it came up with it mainly set up in year 1982, that is establishment, and mainly established at Dehradun, and it is an autonomous institution which mainly comes under Ministry of Environment and Forest. Okay, so now let us move on to next topic. Title says IndiaUS signed project agreement on air launched UAV, that is about relationship between India and US regarding this unmanned aerial vehicles. So this article will be important from your international relations, which comes under GS paper 2. So now let's try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that India and the US signed a project agreement. So India and US signed project agreement mainly regarding this air launched unmanned aerial vehicles. Okay, air launched unmanned aerial vehicles. So it mainly comes under ambit of defense. Okay, so it mainly comes under ambit of defense technology and trade initiative, that is DTTI. So here India and US signed a project regarding air launched unmanned aerial vehicles. So it mainly comes under ambit of defense technology and trade initiative. So if you see some details, it mainly says that so this project agreement mainly linked between the ministry and as well as US Department of Defense by co-chairs of joint working group on air system under this DTTI. So this project agreement which mainly linked between ministry and the US Department of Defense. So if you're talking about what is this air launched unmanned aerial vehicle, so this project agreement mainly deals with design, development, demonstration, testing and evaluation of systems of co-develop of this prototype. So regarding this prototype, so this project agreement, it is about designing, development, demonstration and as well as testing and evaluation of systems. And here this project agreement mainly fell under research, development, testing and evaluation memorandum of agreement. Okay, so it mainly deals with research, development, testing and evaluation. Okay, and it mainly between ministry and the Department of Defense, and it was actually signed in year 2006 and it mainly renewed in January 2015. So if we're talking about significance, how this agreement is important, so this is one of important steps towards deepening of technology collaboration between two nations. Okay, between two nations it is very much helpful mainly for deepening of technology collaboration, and it will be also helpful for promoting collaborative technology exchange and even creating opportunities for co-production and co-development of future technologies for military forces of both nations. So in this way, this agreement is very important for both India and as well as US. And now let's try to talk about next topic. Title says experts flag diversion. Okay, experts flags diversion of fresh water from Brahmani river. So this article mainly focusing about this Brahmani river. So this topic will be important from your geography point of view and even from environment and ecology. From geography point of view, you can expect questions regarding tributaries of this Brahmani river, and as well as you need to know about catchment of this Brahmani river, where it flows, in which state, and it is whether it is a east flowing river or a west flowing river. So in this way you can expect questions regarding this Brahmani river from map based point of view. So now let's try to see context why it is in news. So environmentalists expressed concern over massive diversion of fresh water from this Brahmani river basin, which could pose a grave threat to famous mangrove vegetation in Odisha. So what happens, so if there is a Brahmani river which is flowing like this, so whenever this water mainly diverted for other purposes, actually there are many industries are using huge amounts of water from these rivers. So because of this, what happened, there is decrease in amount of river water flow, and it is mainly joining the sea. So because of this salinity which is increasing, so due to increasing salinity, that mainly affects the mangroves which are mainly present in this area. So this is context. So environmentalists expressed concern over massive diversion of fresh water from this Brahmani river basin, which could pose a grave threat to the famous mangrove vegetation in Odisha. So mainly here decrease in river water or fresh water that is joining the sea. So that mainly leads to increase in salinity that will have some grave threat for this mangrove vegetation in Odisha. So if we are talking about details, it mainly says that Bhitarkanika, which is a notified Ramsar wetland. So Bhitarkanika, which is a notified Ramsar wetland, which mainly spread over 195 square kilometers, and it is home to 62 mangrove species. So actually this Bhitarkanika, it is a Ramsar wetland. So it mainly spread over 195 square kilometers, and this Bhitarkanika, it is a home for 62 mangrove species. And next one is, besides the 1600 saltwater crocodiles, they are mainly seen in this Bhitarkanika mangrove forest. So we are talking about background here. So the Wildlife Society of Odisha, which is an environmental pressure group, which had drawn a public attention regarding excess water allocation for industries from this river. So because of this excess usage or excess allocation of water to industries, that led to decrease in fresh water discharge into sea. That led to increase in salinity, and that is mainly posing threat for this mangrove species which are present in this Bhitarkanika area. So we are talking about reasons. So Talcher Angul coal mines and as well as some power plants, even Kalinganagar Steel and Power Hub, they are drawing a huge amount of fresh water from this Brahmani river. So this is one cause of concern. And next one is, according to SSO Secretary, 105 million liters 105 million liters per million liters as per this government claims, that mainly withdrawn from the mega drinking water project. So on one side there is for industries there is a huge amount of water withdrawn, and even for this mega drinking water project also about 105 million liters of water they are mainly withdrawn. So because of these reasons, there is reduction or reducing the flow of water that will lead to drastic changes in water regime of Bhitarkanika mangroves. Okay, so this is one cause of concern. And if you are talking about impact, so what will be the impacts? So first thing you need to remember here is, whenever water diversion is happening, that will lead to decrease in flow, or that will alter normal flow of fresh water. So due to diversion of water from this river, that will lead to alteration in the normal flow of fresh water, that will lead to increasing saline ingression in upstream. And next one is, here WSO Secretary said that this would also affect local flora and as well as local fauna, and even it would impact a livelihood of a number of people who are mainly dependent on this fishes etc. here. And there could be a quantum increase in man-crocodile conflict, since the estuarine crocodiles would leave the core sanctuary area and they migrate upstream once salinity increases. For example, if there is a mangrove here and here in this area there is increase in salinity. So whenever this salinity is increasing, here the crocodiles will move towards upstream. Okay. So because of this, that will lead to incidents of man-human conflict here. So these are some important impacts. So now let's try to talk about this Brahmani river. So it is mainly formed by joining of two rivers, that is Kol and as well as Sank. So they is mainly joined to form this Brahmani river. And finally this Brahmani river will be joined by, okay, here one more tributary, that is Tikra, and it is finally joining in sea. It is a east flowing river. So we are talking about some facts regarding this Brahmani river. So the basin mainly contains here Brahmani, okay, actually. So this area in this Odisha, we can see Brahmani is also seen and as well as even Baitarni is seen. And both this Brahmani and Baitarni, they extend over states like Odisha, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. And if you're talking about source of this Bahmani is known as South Coal in its upper reaches, which mainly rises near Nagri village in Ranchi district of Jharkhand. So it mainly rises in Jharkhand, and important tributary is here Karo, okay, and this one is Sank, and next one is Tikra. So these are the some important points that you need to remember regarding this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says PMI Purchasing Manager Index signals fastest rebound in service activity in 18 months. So this article mainly talking about Purchasing Managers Index. So this article will be important from our economy point of view, which comes under GS paper 3. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that India's services sector which expanded in August. So it is mainly talking about service sector. Actually this PMI will be given separately for manufacturing and separately for this service sector. So this article mainly talking about service sector. So India's services sector which expanded in August at the fastest pace in 1.5 years. So in 1.5 years there is increasing of this India service sector. So it is according to this PMI. So if you are talking about further more details, it mainly says that so the seasonally adjusted India services business activity index, so it mainly says that it mainly rose from 45.4% in July to 56.7% in August. So here this PMI also had increased, okay, in the month of August. So service sector now witnessed the first expansion in output in 4 months and rebound in business confidence. And this one is the reopening of several establishments and increased consumer footfall boost sales also we can see. And the new orders they have been placed in service providers. So because of this new orders there is improvement of this service sector, and there is also increased pace of expansion of orders. It was the quickest in more than 8.5 years. And if we are talking about concerns, so even though there is increasing of some boost for our service sector, but there is further decline in new export orders that can be seen. So if you are talking about some facts regarding this PMI, so Purchasing Manager Index, it is a survey based measure, and it mainly asks respondents about the changes in their perception about the key business variables as compared to the previous months. And here this Purchasing Manager Index which mainly calculated separately for manufacturing and services sector. So here if you are talking about PMI, so the number will be varies from 0 to 100. So if it is less than 50 means we can see contraction, is equal to 50 means there is no change, and more than 50 means we can see there is expansion. So these are the some important things that you need to remember. And now let us try to talk about next topic. Title says FSDC asks regulators to keep steady vigil on financial sector. So here this article mainly talking about this FSDC. FSDC is nothing but Financial Stability and Development Council. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under economy. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that a high level of this FSDC, Financial Stability and Development Council, which mainly headed by Finance Minister, discussed a host of issues concerning the economy. Okay, so they are mainly underlined the need for keeping a continuous vigil on financial sector by government as well as different regulators. So here the high level of this FSDC. So high level of this FSDC, Financial Sector Development Council, which mainly headed by our Finance Minister, and they discussed some host of issues regarding our economy. So and also they came up with what's the need of keeping a continuous vigil, that is continuous eye or continuous thing, which mainly seen on this financial sector. So if you're talking about some important details, it mainly says that Financial Stability and Development Council, which mainly attended by various finance sector regulators and even our RBI governor, and they talked about some important things like financial stability, like financial sector development, inter-regulatory coordination, financial literacy, financial inclusion as well as macro level prudential supervision. So these are the things which are mainly discussed. And council also discussed other areas or other issues related to management of stressed assets, strengthening of institutional mechanism for financial stability analysis, and even framework for resolution of financial institutions, etc. And now let's try to talk about what is the need. So here this people mainly said that, okay, the people who attended this council meet, they mainly said that we need to keep a continuous vision, we need to keep a continuous look by the government and as well as all regulators on these financial conditions which are present in our country now. So this is about this topic, and now let us try to see some facts regarding this FSDC. So this Financial Stability and Development Council, which is a non-statutory body, and which mainly comes under Ministry of Finance. And this one is even in 2008, Raghuram Rajan Committee on Financial Sector Reforms, they first proposed for creation of this FSDC. And here this FSDC mainly chaired by our Finance Minister. And in this body, mainly members include heads of financial sector regulators, that is RBI, SEBI, PFRD and as well as IRDA, etc. And FSDC, it is a subcommittee which mainly headed by Governor of RBI. So council can invite experts to its meeting if required. And if you are talking about functions, it mainly says that objective of this FSDC is mainly to strengthen and to institutionalize the mechanism for maintaining financial stability in the country, and even it will be very much helpful for enhancing inter-regulatory coordination and also even for promoting financial sector development. And it is also very much helpful to monitor macro-prudential supervision of our country also. And even this will be very much helpful for accessing the functioning of large financial conglomerates. So now let us try to see next topic. So before seeing this, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. If you want to clear UPSC 2022, we came up with one excellent, highly beneficial and as well as highly economical course, that is Current Affairs Package along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful to clear UPSC 2022? So one thing you need to remember here is, before entering into examination hall, you need to know at least 1.5 years current affairs. And this is right time to join this course to cover this 1.5 years current affairs in a comprehensive manner. And next one is, here in this course, we are mainly focusing on answer writing skills, answer writing practice. So if you join this course, you are going to write more than 300 questions and also as 300 more than 50 essays. So in this way, this course will offer you a better opportunity to improve your answer writing skills. And the next one is, if you join this course, even we are conducting prelims test on every Sunday and we provide a video explanation part. So in this way, this course which is designed as per demand of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing. Please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. So details of this course which is given in the description box. So please visit that once. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call to this number 8074765513. Okay, now let's come back and let us see last article of this day. That is an uneven uptick, that is GST revenue trends indicates the recovery is neither smooth nor fast. So this article mainly talking about GST collections. Actually in yesterday's lecture we studied some background actually. So in this today's editorials, there is nothing much important actually. So you can read one editorial regarding Taliban. Okay, so that's it. There is nothing much in today's editorial actually. And now let's try to see central theme. It mainly says that GST revenue trends indicates the recovery is neither smooth nor fast. So now let's try to talk about this GST revenue trends. So here in this August, okay, so this August the gross revenues of rupees 1.12 lakh crore mainly collected in month of August. So GST has now yielded over 1 lakh crore a month for almost full year. From last month, whenever we imposed this COVID-19, so we saw just 93,000 lakhs actually. But now from last 1 year, we are seeing an average, we are collecting more than 1 lakh crore. Okay, that's GST collections. So here if you see in the last year during this COVID-19, so it mainly fall below even 93,000 crore. But now from last 1 year onwards, we are maintaining an average of 1 lakh crore rupees. So if you are talking about this August collections, which is more, 30% more, and also 14% above this pre-pandemic levels of this in 2019 to 20. So if you're talking about some more data which mainly says that revenues from these domestic transactions, they were up to 27%, and key industrial states, they also saw faster growth, including some states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and as well as Maharashtra. So if you are going forward, so the government of India expects that such robust GST revenues to persist now. But now if you see, if there is a third wave which mainly comes, means we can't expect. Okay, it is very much unclear if economy is recovering fast in tandem with easing out of COVID-19 restrictions. And even the GST collections in August, which mainly pertains largely to economic activity in July, and also mobility restrictions in most states, and they have been eased further that month compared to that of June. So even though from June onwards there is further more restrictions, in the month of August, we saw there is less amount of GST collection than we are comparing with the month of July. So because of this, finally author says that GST e-way bills generated in July, which mainly surged to average of 2.1 million, okay, from 1.8 million in June, but in August, which is 4% lower. Okay, so we collected 1.12 lakh crore, but in month of July 2021 we collected 1.16, that is 4% lower. So because of this, finally author says that whatever the recovery we are seeing now, that is very much slow rather than fast. So this is gist of this topic, and I hope it is clear. So for the PDF of this lecture, please join the Telegram channel, link which is given in description box. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll to this current affairs package. Thank you so much.